Hello and namaste everyone. Welcome to Coca-Cola Presents Youth Dialogue by Glocal Private Limited. Youth Dialogue is a youth monthly discussion series where we invite speakers to talk about their initiation, creativity, motivation, challenges, and we hear the stories. Today we are present here at Kathmandu Don Bosco College and we are thrilled to host this interesting episode on the topic role of youth for sustainable world. And so talking about the program, we have two segments for this program. Firstly, we'll have a panel discussion here. Then we'll make this floor open for the audiences so that they can ask the question with our esteemed panelists. So moving forward, I would like to introduce you with our panelist here. We have Miss Anushka Shrestha. She is Miss World Nepal 2019 and also the co-founder and CEO at Makkuse. So let's give a round of applause for her. Also, we have Miss Sneha Shrestha. She is working as Communication and Sustainability Manager at Coca-Cola Beverage, Nepal. She is also the Public Relationship Specialist and looks after water recycling and water leadership projects. Likewise, we have Ms. Shristhi Vaidya. She is the Finance and HR Director at Vaidya Group. She is also the Curator of Global Shapers Kathmandu Hub and Climate Reality Leader at the Climate Reality Project. So welcome everyone in today's panel discussion. So we are conducting this panel discussion on the verge of International Youth Day, like we just had International Youth Day with the theme of green skills. So talking about youths of today, how do you visualize youths of today and how do you see the potential in youths of this time?
Hi everyone. So happy International Youth Day, though we are I think 2 days late. It was on 12th, right? So happy International Youth Day, and for this year the theme is green skills for the youth. So working at Coca-Cola we have various projects, especially for waste, for plastic recycling, and then we also have projects for water. So your projects, we work with organizations, NGOs, for the expertise, like for waste, we work with creations, Doco recyclers, and for water, we have WWF, CIUD, Splash. It's organizations all the time. No? So your organizations, we see a lot of youngsters, so mostly adults, older generations, it's the youngsters, and I see them very passionate at what they are doing. So whatever they do it with their hearts. So potential, I see them more passionate on what they want to do. They are more open-minded about not just the community, but also moving ahead of their communities in terms of environment as well. So yeah. I see a lot of potential and passion amongst the youth. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Do I get the same question? So the youth of today, when I was probably 15 or 16, and we had this question a lot in social studies and HPE at that time of how is the youth responsible. And I would always think, why just us? Why just us? Why is only the youth responsible? Why isn't everybody responsible? Why do the adults get away with it? I would often think, and I think now at 27, although I believe the official definition is 16 to 24, I'd still consider myself part of the youth group at 27. I think I understand now why there is a special power that you and I hold by being the youth of the country. In very layman terms, I believe we've all come across this social media post which says when you're younger, you have a lot of energy but no money, and then as you get older, you've got a lot of wealth and time but no energy. And youth is that sort of sweet spot where you can have a good balance of time, energy, and you can make yourself very, very useful, Raisa, during that active time. And I feel now I understand why people keep harping on about youth kai zimma ho, yuva kai zimma ho bhanera चाहिँ के छ. Of course, then there is the argument that is youth just a numerical age? Because you've got the physical age, you've got chronological age, you've got the physical age, the mental age. In terms of energy, yes, anybody can be youthful and young, but very honestly, practical terms, it's a sweet spot, Raisa, where you have the time, the energy, and you can make yourself really, really useful to contribute a lot. How do I see the youth of today? I see it as very, very global because we have access to anything and everything at our fingertips. So we can, in a negative side, we think that we compare ourselves a lot to all the good that's happening everywhere. But on the positive side, we can be inspired and encouraged and even equipped to do as good as anybody else in the world. So, I find the youth, I find us. Yes, sometimes a little confused, and that's what comes with the environment of things. Because as of today, we often get asked, what's the biggest problem of the youth of today? I think choices. We have so many choices in anything and everything. So quite often we feel a little bit restricted because there's so many things to choose from. We're very, very confused, and that scares us a little. But that's fine. It's the environment. Sometimes I see choices as an ocean. So we can either succumb to it, say, and feel, oh no, I've got so many choices, so much water around me, what do I do? Or we can build ourselves a boat and navigate the ocean of choices around us. So I find the youth of today very, very energetic, excited, sometimes overwhelmed by the amount of information there is outside, but still determined to build themselves, ourselves, a good boat to navigate around it. And in terms of sustainability especially, again, HP, my definition part, what is the definition of sustainability? It is using the resources today so that you don't compromise the availability of the resources for future generations. And you know what is very, very good to see is that this us generation right now, we're not saying the fact that we're so concerned right now says a lot. Quite often the youth of today is associated with being self-centered and individualistic and this and that, but really, if we really were, we wouldn't be giving two squats about what happens tomorrow, but we are. So I think we have to give it to ourselves that we are quite considerate and quite worried about what will happen tomorrow. So that is how I see the youth of today.
I think Anushka and Sneha did a really good job talking about all the things that are the potential of the youth today. Just adding a little bit on top of that is that you guys, mirror time when I was in school, technology was not as advanced. We didn't even have mobile phones and stuff. I'm older than you, Anushka, so ma pani youth ko ma thakkai fit hundina. But you guys have access to share your voices to the world. Okay, that's something we didn't have as youth. I think generally speaking, not as easily, and that's a platform and a potential that you really can utilize. Okay, paila it wasn't like that, but now you have all of these different platforms, all of these different opportunities like today, where you do get the chance to really explore who you are and also challenge the world that it is right now and challenge the status quo. And I think that's incredibly important, talking about sustainability. Paila चाहिँ sustainability भनेको हामीले एउटा subject पढ्थ्यौं हैन. आजकल चाहिँ sustainability भनेपछि it's a lens through which you look at the world. It's not an option anymore. Your lives are going to be affected by climate change, by technological advancements. Your lives are going to be seriously affected by it. So you need to look at the world through that lens and take action accordingly. So I think you have the potential for that, much more so than my generation, I think. And I think that's really the huge benefit of our young youth right now.
So we have youths of today here. So how do you think, what do you possess? Are you excited about your life? Yes? Are you happy about your life? Yes. Okay, it's very deep. There are a lot of mixed emotions, right? So in terms of youthful nature, like we come from that same phase, like we are youthful, and youth has a lot of potentials that we have already talked about. So in that terms, there is a term sustainability that youth need to consider that the youth can have voice it out so that they can create a sustainable future around. So in this terms, like my next question to you, Sneha ji, sustainability involves a balance, right, between environment, social and all economic aspect. र त्यो सँगसँगै चाहिँ जति पनि इनिसिएटिभ कोकाकोलाले गर्दैछ हैन, यसले चाहिँ युथहरुसँग इन्गेज गर्ने कस्तो डाइमेन्सन चाहिँ फ्रेम गर्छ र कस्तो कस्तो खालको कार्यक्रमहरु चाहिँ हजुरले गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ?
सो कोक भन्ने बित्तिकै आवर मेन टार्गेट अडियन्स नै युथ नै हो हैन. सो व्हाटएभर वी डू वी think about the youth नै. And तपाईले भन्नुभयो फर्स्ट वाज एन्भाइरोन्मेन्ट हैन. सो एन्भाइरोन्मेन्टमा वी हेभ टु की पिलर्स हैन. एउटा चाहिँ वेस्ट, प्लास्टिक रिसाइक्लिङ, अर्को चाहिँ वाटर. सो वेस्टमा चाहिँ there's this mission globally ni Coke mission cha, it's world without waste. So I bhakar त्यो mountain cleanup campaign तपाईहरुले देख्नु भयो. It's also part of this mission ke world without waste. So world without waste ma चाहिँ our objective is to collect and recycle every bottle we sell. So equivalent नै हुन्छ. So every bottle we sell, we collect and recycle. And it doesn't have to be a Coke bottle. It can be any other brand. So every bottle actually PET plastic हो हैन. They are all recyclable. So यसमा चाहिँ we, like I said, we work with partners. And नेपालमा चाहिँ by the end of this year actually we are aiming to be 100% in terms of collection, 100%. So every bottle we sell, we are collecting and recycling one bottle each. So hopefully by this year we will achieve that. So that is for our waste plastic recycling initiatives. For water, what we do is, water is a key ingredient of our beverages. And in Nepal, for every drop of water we use, we recharge and replenish that same amount to the nature. So how we do that is we have several projects, including rainwater harvesting, groundwater recharge, and wash programs in schools. So these are our initiatives in terms of environment. Another was social.
Yeah.
Social. So communities are important to us. So we believe that wherever we operate, we give back to our communities and uplift them. So we have women empowerment, like our Saksham program, where we empower women from our value chain. So over there we have lots of youth, and we have an accelerator program as well that we are running, where we are giving out seed money for 3 participants. We actually have 12 participants, but overall, we'll be selecting 3 winners. Actually, it's going to end this Friday. So we'll be giving out seed money to women entrepreneurs as well. And they are all youth. And त्यो भयो for women. And for youth, we continuously tie up with partners like Glocal. This is actually our 2nd year with Glocal for youth dialogue. And so yeah, we keep on engaging with youth in whatever we do. So eventually, whatever we do in terms of sustainability, it will result in a circular economy. So because all of our plastics are recyclable, we can always upscale them. So Nepalma चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म we haven't done an upscaling project, but we are planning to start from next year. But if you can see, like Pokhrama, there is an NGO called Himalayan Plastics, where they upscale plastics. So from bottles, they can also make another bottle. So that's how they do. And if you have ever heard there's a road made out of plastics, it's something like that. We can always upcycle plastics. And this is what a circular economy is, and we are always striving for that. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing about your initiative. Likewise, अलिकति माकुसेको कुरा गरौँ हैन. अब हजुरले चाहिँ in a broader sustainability movement मा चाहिँ how have you envisioned your role अनि कसरी चाहिँ काम गर्नुहुन्छ? Like we have seen, we have used Makkuse products as well. अब त्यसको practices हरु चाहिँ कसरी हजुरले initiate गरिरहनु भएको छ? थोरै त्यसमा चाहिँ.
The 2 years and 10 months ago, I was going out and about every packaging industry that there is, from Balazu to where not, looking for options. And त्यो बेलामा चाहिँ oh, now you're in the decision-making position jasto feel bhayo. Because when you're a consumer or when we're a student, again, answer the majjale lekhinthyo yesto hunu parcha bhanera. But when you're in that decision-making position, then you realize, okay, it's time to put your money where your mouth is, as they say. So we are a small business, we're almost 3 years old, and it feels great to be sharing this panel with a manufacturing giant and, with businesses that have been here a while, and that motivates us that if we continue to do the right thing, we can probably stay here a while. So Makkuse ko tapaharule dekhnu bhayeko cha bhane hamro sabai नै packaging material चाहिँ totally recyclable र reusable नै छ. And that was a conscious choice. So we use glass jars, for example, from the smallest of things. I really believe in smallest of actions compounding to become bigger things. I remember thinking if we just offer sustainable options, then the market is consumer driven, yes, but it is both ways jasto raheछ भनेर थाहा भयो that if we only offer environment friendly options, then there is no option to buy anything else. But then again, the economic side of things does come in, and it's a constant, I wouldn't say a struggle, but it's a constant place of innovation, that how do you grow without compromising on your economic side of things, because without the cash flow, without the money, there is no backbone to do anything, hey? So again, coming back, we use, I wouldn't say 100%, because there are items where we still need airtight things, where we still need to go through a little bit plastic, but I'm very proud to say that 95% of everything that we use is reusable and recyclable, from our lokta paper packaging to our glass jar bottles that have become masala dabbas in everybody's household, and even grow hydroponics and plants. Besides that became, and while we were making this decision, we actually had spoken to consultants that had independently consulted at Coca-Cola as well. We had spoken to Himalayan Climate Initiative. I'm sure Hamri Baini bags is something that we're all quite familiar with, or maybe not this generation, because I said something the other day, and I was speaking to somebody about 6 years younger, and she had no idea what I was talking about. So Hamri Baini bags bhanda kasaiलाई थाहा छ कि what am I talking about? No? Yes? Right. So भाटबटिनीहरुमा जाने बेलामा अहिले हामीले ब्याग किन्नै पर्ने हुन्छ नि है. पहिला चाहिँ प्लास्टिक ब्याग्सहरु नै हुन्थ्यो, polythene bags नै हुन्थ्यो, and then there was this huge uproar movement called the Hamri Baini bags, which was made by women entrepreneurs, and that was only available for purchase at Bhatbhatini. So that became quite a thing. And अहिले त tote bags have become quite a style statement as well. So that Didi Shristhi Didi had also consulted, and she told me one thing which stays with me, is that when I said, it's so different, Santa, if I go on a sustainable option, it is more expensive and it is more headache. In anything, for example, we use an e-scooter, we use an EV right now, which God knows कति चोटि अलिकति गाह्रो हुन्छ हामीलाई पेट्रोल स्कुटर भए सजिलै हुन्थ्यो. We use an electric oven, जबकि हाम्रो शेफ had recommended कि म्याम भर पर्दैन, बत्ती अलि झापझुप गरिदिन्छ, ग्यास ओभन लिनु सेफ हुन्छ. Then we said, you know what, it's time to put your money where your mouth is. स्पिचेस मात्रै दिएर भएन, हामीले आफूले जब आफू चाहिँ डिसिजन मेकिङ पावरमा छु सकेसम्म चाहिँ गरौँ न भन्ने इन्टेन्सनले चाहिँ अगाडि बढ्यौँ. एन्ड Shrestha Didi had told me this one thing that stays with me. She said, because when we started plastic, I don't know if how many of you know this, but a friend of mine recently shared that plastic was actually started to save the environment. That's the irony. That plastic was actually पहिला चाहिँ सबै यो काठहरु काटेर इभन एनिमल टस्कहरु यताउति युज भएर हुने चीज भएकोले इन्भाइरोन्मेन्ट सेभ गर्नलाई चाहिँ बायो के भन्छ लाइक प्लान्ट्स एनिमल्सहरुलाई असर नपरोस् भनेर इन्भाइरोन्मेन्ट सेभ गर्नलाई बनाएको चीज के प्लास्टिक. Look at the irony now. But then there's different categories such as what Coke does of recycling as well, right? So start on the right foot was the advice that she had given. Even many companies that started on the right foot thinking that plastic is actually a way to save the environment, हामीले अरु plants and animals use गर्नु पर्दैन. अब समयको माग हुँदा हुँदै समय सान्दर्भिक हुनको लागि कन्टेम्पोरेरी हुनको लागि रिसाइक्लिङ प्लान्ट्सहरु एकदम धेरै एस्टाब्लिश भइरहेको छ हैन. So for a small business, the question or the advice was start on the right foot, because if you start on the wrong foot today, you're going to have to change to a greener foot tomorrow. But as you're thinking of starting something today, start right. or start as right as you can, start as green as you can, was the advice that I think we took really, really to heart. And like I shared just a few examples of the things that we do, wherever possible, we genuinely and truly try to stay green. So those are a few things that we, I think, as a small business, are very much committed to. Any new option that opens up, sustainability is one of the key factors that has to remain along with our brand identity. So we say that introduce it has to be authentic, it has to be Nepali, it has to be luxury, and it has to be sustainable. So we don't start for the sake of it. Sustainability, as you very rightly said, is not just a part, it's a lens through which we have to see all of our actions.
Yeah. So sustainability ko initiative wale share garnu bhayo हैन in अब हामी as an individual we have different roles र different way बाट चाहिँ हामीले आफ्नो environment लाई आफ्नो society मा चाहिँ contribute गर्न सक्छौं त्यही हिसाबमा मलाई थोरै श्रेष्ठी म्याम को चाहिँ experience सुन्न पर्यो किनभने you are into different roles, you are into business, diplomacy, त्यति त्यो सँगसँगै social initiative मा पनि एकदम actively लाग्नु भएको छ. So what motivated you to actively engage with the youth on the subject of sustainability?
Thank you for that question. To start with, let me explain my background a little bit and then I think you guys will understand a little better. So I didn't study Nepal ma ke पहिलेदेखि इन्डियामा पढेको थिएँ अनि त्यसपछि US मा पढ्न गएँ यहाँ फिर्ता आएँ. I didn't know anything about the country. I didn't know the language as well. अहिले त अलि ठीक भइसक्यो. अनि most of all I didn't have any friends, any people that I could connect with. And so I was very deliberate in the choices that I made. Okay? And so the first thing I did was I joined this community called Global Shapers. It's called the Global Shapers Community internationally, and Global Shapers Kathmandu se Kathmandu ko chapter ho. And this community is really unique in the fact that hamle Kathmandu ma, if there's any social issues, any community related issues, anywhere we can benefit our community, we do action on that. Okay? And I was like, okay, I'd be around these really amazing people, my age, I know it's 18 to 30 ko range ko, and we'd be working actively on benefiting our community. So I really got into sustainability. It's something that I've always worried and wondered about. School I don't know how many of you have watched An Inconvenient Truth, Al Gore. It's an older movie because it's like a wake-up call when it comes to climate change. Going back to Global Shapers, we were like trying to reach different age groups, climate change like trying to educate people, trying to get them to act on it. And we reached out to older generations, no response. We reached out to people our age, like 20s, 30s ko people, not as much involvement because afne dunma chalira huncha ni after one point in your life, like Anushka mentioned. And then finally we were like, okay, what's the right group to really target when it comes to climate change? And that's when we fixed on the youth, because the youth are uniquely positioned to actually still care about the climate and also be really affected by it. So we've done so many different projects with the youth. We've done a lot of climate change dialogues, much like this. So we had dialogues with young environmental leaders within Nepal who are normal people. They just chose to be better. Like Anushka just mentioned, they chose to be sustainable. So a dialogue that was really well received. And then COVID and we curriculum developed class 6, 7, 8 students climate change बुझाउनलाई curriculum develop गरेको थियौं हामीले एउटा स्कुलमा गरेको थियौं काभ्रेमा अनि हामी त्यहाँ गयौं हैन अनि what is climate change भनेर सोध्दाखेरि this always there would be that one student who stood up and showed the Nepali ma जो कि मैले पनि बुझ्दिन थिए proper definition of climate change and that was really amazing because they knew what it meant, right? That's what we thought. That then we were like, is climate change good or bad? So everyone was like, it's good. Down the line. And that's when we realized that climate change is just so like the way they were perceiving it, it was a textbook definition. They didn't think that it was affecting their lives. And so we developed a curriculum that taught them that climate change timi Nepali bhara कसरी affect गरिरहेछ भनेर. And that was really eye-opening for them. But then COVID happened. and so we couldn't do the curriculum anymore. And so we developed a book called Kalpa Rickshaw. We've distributed 2,000 copies of this book already, another 1,000 on the line. We worked with WWF Nepal. And it's basically an activity book that takes them through what climate change is, what greenhouse gases are, but through the lens of a Nepali. Okay? So it's not like definition learn garerako hoina कि अब हाम्रो hiu chitwa is the mascot of the book. Why is hiu chitwa the mascot of the book? Because hiu chitwako habitat is getting destroyed by climate change. And so it's a very deliberate book about this. And we also talk about plastic, and we go through the history of plastic and how it was made, like you said, to conserve the environment, and then it's become such a nuisance. And we finally ended with the 3 R's banera, and it's a very organic sort of education for kids, and we really hope that the youth, and we really believe that the youth can take this really pertinent issue and take it to their homes. It's you guys who do this. हामीले top-down approach ma garyo bhane, it's really hard to get you all to be angry, to be motivated to do something about climate change bhanera. So youth are the people who can really, really drive forward action in this realm. So it's just one of the few things that we've done, and I just wanted to highlight it. We're doing so much more. I don't want to take too much time up.
So that was wonderful experiences, हैन. अब as a youth, there are a lot of skills, हैन. अब हजुरहरुको बारे चाहिँ मलाई बुझ्नु थियो. So what do you think are the most essential skills that a youth need to have to cope up with this competitive world of today?
Skills मा चाहिँ अब अस्ति भर्खर on National Youth Day मै हाम्रो Honorable सुमना श्रेष्ठले चाहिँ एउटा प्यानल होस्ट गर्नुभएको थियो. उहाँले चाहिँ भन्नुभएको थियो कि it's actually youthले actually त्यो अडियन्समा कम्प्लेन गरिरहेको थियो कि like why isn't the government doing this that त्यस्तो भनेर. But उहाँले चाहिँ के भन्नुभयो भने youth उहाँहरुकै voices हो actually they matter. So push गर्दै गर्नु governmentमा, like all the stakeholders, not just government, like NGOs, private sector, everywhere, push गर्दै गर्नु, share your opinions where it matters, हैन. That's one skill, हैन, of just voicing out your opinions wherever your passion lies. अनि अर्को स्किल भनेको I mean पार्टनरशिप भन्ने चाहिँ मलाई एकदम big impactful कुरा हो जस्तो लाग्छ. I mean as an individual I'm sure you guys are doing something or the other to live in a more sustainable lifestyle, like at homes, like composting or even just carrying a tote bag to replace plastics, हैन. But partnership I see, like I said, much bigger impact. Like I'm sure you guys have some free time after exams and all, and they try and seek out volunteering. NGOs or just the creation they work with lots of volunteers. So for example, World Environment Day when we worked with creation, most of the activities were run by volunteers, and we can see the passion in them. So this is a volunteer. And then if you are into technology, so this is coming from a sort of a selfish way, but if you are in technology, push through something, some ideas that can help in sustainability, because in Nepal we are trying to get a reverse vending machine. So reverse vending machine bhaneko chai, if you have empty bottle, so after drinking Coke you have an empty bottle, you put it in that machine and it gives you back something. It could be money, it could be another bottle of Coke. So it's a reverse vending machine. So Nepal ma chai bahiratira is already there, and like in countries like Australia एकदमै appreciate गर्छ consumersले, हैन. तर नेपालमा चाहिँ हामीले यस्तो हेर्दाखेरि it tends to become very expensive. We have to buy it from foreign countries. But it's a simple machine bhन्छ है. So if you guys are into technology, यस्तो कुरा, यस्तो innovation को लागि push out गर्नु, and there are companies like us, we would always like to support. So if there's anything, keep on pushing, voicing out through your innovations, through your platforms, influencing not just friends and families, but even policy makers. Have that confidence, you have that power. So yeah, go ahead, keep on pushing, guys. Thank you.
So there are a lot of skills that is important for youth. अब थोरै टेक्नोलोजी र इनोभेसनको कुरा गरौँ. My next question to Anushka ji. टेक्नोलोजी र इनोभेसनको चाहिँ एउटा इमेन्स पोटेन्सियल छ हैन. सो यसलाई चाहिँ युथहरूले कसरी लेभरेज गर्न सक्छन् यस्तो टुल्सहरूको युजको कारणले. दे आर अल्सो एक्टिभ इन सोसियल मिडिया हैन. सो यसरी चाहिँ डिफ्रेन्ट डिजिटल प्लेटफर्म्सहरूलाई चाहिँ उहाँहरूले कसरी युटिलाइज गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ टु एक्सेल इन देयर लाइफ.
I'm not the most tech savvy person to be asked a question about tech. But when it comes to what skills are required and how technical skills can be integrated, ma chai duita kura jasto लाग्छ है. हामीलाई के skills चाहिन्छ भन्नेमा एउटा चाहिँ research जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई. Which relates to the social media side of things, because it's so easy to form an opinion on a post that somebody shares. अहिले हाम्रो एकदम धेरै बानी चाहिँ कहिलेकाहीँ अनि यो तपाईहरुले अब हायर एजुकेसनमा जाँदै गर्दाखेरि one of the things that you might struggle with is that critical thinking bit, because हामीलाई एकदम चाँडो झट्ट एउटा पोस्ट हेरेर ओपिनियन फर्म गरिहाल्छौँ के हामी धेरै हैन. We don't usually do a lot of like what is the back end reading of it and how do I really feel about it, कि मलाई फलाना एउटा एकदम चल्ने पेजको इन्स्टाग्राम एउटा इन्फोग्राफिकबाट मैले ओपिनियन बनाइरहेको छु भनेर. So the skill that I think is very much required, which relates very much to tech, is the research bit. Yai nei hamro, again it's like that ocean of choices, okay? It's the best thing that we have is we have access to everything. And the worst thing also that we have is that we have access to everything. So the skill that I think is very much required is that ability to think critically. And to not just go के भन्छ त्यो Steve Jobs ले एउटा के word use गर्छ नि सबैले भनेको चीज गरे गर्नलाई. There is some word that says just बेडा प्रवृत्ति हुन भएन भन्ने हो कि हैन, अलिकति राम्ररी भन्न आएन मलाई. बट हामीले सोच्ने चाहिँ गर्ने चाहिँ एक्सन्स हैन, राम्रै कुरा भए पनि we have to have that critical thinking, that understanding of किन गर्छ त भनेर हामीले आफ्नो चोइसेसहरुमा रिसर्च गर्ने. I think that is one of the skills that we truly do need to be able to navigate better choices. अनि यही नै critical thinking चाहिँ अहिलेको टाइममा social media can be such an incredible platform to share those things from. There are so many groups such as Buy Nothing Kathmandu भन्ने पनि छ हैन, ग्रुप्सहरु where sustainable practices are well practiced, but there's also dialogue and conversations that happens between हैन. मलाई त यस्तो लाग्छ नि त यसरी हामी एक नोट मात्रै सोच्दै गयो भने त केही पनि नलाएर एक जोर लुगा लाएर लाइफ भरि बसौँ न त. तर त्यस्तो किन होइन हैन. And then there dialogue happens, that it's not a one note thing. We're not telling everybody or एकदमै preachy पाराले top down approach ले होइन कि कसरी चाहिँ it can be part of the lifestyle, कसरी चाहिँ मान्छेहरुले गर्छन् भनेर. That's where I think tech can really be used. And very excitingly, it gives you access to people which you would have not otherwise met. One of these people that I mentioned that I go back to always to talk about sustainability and choices, be it in my personal life, is a person that I was connected through digital media, which otherwise I would not have come across at all. So I asked her, कि तपाईं कसरी प्र्याक्टिस गर्नुहुन्छ? मलाई एकदम सिम्पल कुरा लाग्ने कि हैन म नो प्लास्टिक भन्छु तर बाथरुमको वेस्ट चाहिँ केमा फाल्ने त? मलाई जहिले पनि एउटा क्वेशन रहने के जीरो प्लास्टिक गर्दै तर बाथरुमको त एउटा त पोलिथिन झोला त के लगाउने त बिन लाइनर के लगाउने भन्ने क्वेशन तपाईं के गर्नुहुन्छ? देन दे इन्ट्रोड्युस्ड कि बायोडिग्रेडेबल बिन लाइनर्स प्लास्टिक यसरी पाउँछ भनेर. अनि कुन तरिकाले चाहिँ व्हाट आर द चोइसेस दैट यु कन्सियसली मेक. सो अहिले गएर ससानो प्र्याक्टिसेस एट होम फ्रम पेपर वेस्ट सेग्रिगेसन एट सोर्स. सानो ह्याबिट पहिला घरमा भनेर भन्नुहुन्थ्यो तर गर्दा गर्दा अब बानी भइसक्यो. अफिसमा खाली सिसी र डोको रिसाइक्लर्स एकदम कम्पल्सरी, पेपर वेस्ट जाँदै जाँदैन एक मुष्ट भएर. सो द स्मलेस्ट अफ प्र्याक्टिसेस जुन चाहिँ छ त्यो चाहिँ टेक्नोलोजीले इन्ट्रोड्युस गराएको मान्छे थियो. So यस्ता कुराहरूले चाहिँ I feel that those are the skills, definitely that thinking skills and persistence are two skills very much required in us to keep our theory into practical. And you can truly utilize social spaces to stay connected with people जसको चाहिँ habitहरु तपाईलाई आफुमा चाहिँ incorporate गर्न मन छ.
All right, I feel like Anushka always does such a good job of covering all of these things. When it comes to skills, honestly, I'm reflecting back when I was in your position, a lot of the dialogue was about how मैले अब यो मास्टर्स गर्छु, यो मास्टर्स गरेपछि यो जब पाउँछु अनि I'll make that my career भनेर. That was the dialogue. But you guys are living in a world that it's changing so much, so rapidly due to AI and all of that. And I'm sure you're sick of hearing about this, but you really need to be careful about the career paths and the lives that you choose for yourself. And for that, you need to be really flexible and very adaptable. So, future ko sochena bhani, where the world is going, where technology is going, where sustainability is going. Future ma, you might not have a career path planned out for you. Okay, I know it's a scary thought, but it's your reality very much so. Okay, so I feel like the youth today really need to adapt with the times and really gain that knowledge and research to make sure that you are prepared for the future that is coming up, because a lot of it is not in your hands, and tech is just one of them. And if you're not up to date with that, पछि चाहिँ गाह्रो चाहिँ हुन्छ. मलाई नै गाह्रो भइसक्यो, honestly speaking, because I didn't adapt as much, so I'm telling you as someone who's dealt with that. मलाई C++ सिकाएको थियो स्कुलमा, and I was so bad at that कि आजकल सबैले जावाहरू सिकिरहेको हुन्छ हैन. तर त्यो पनि अब it's going to become irrelevant because of AI, right? People can code, you don't need to code anymore, like AI can do that for you. So what are you going to do next, right? Think about your futures and adapt and be really critical thinking. I'm a big proponent of critical thinking. Schoolerma त्यति I don't know if it's a practice here हैन. मेरो इन्डियामा त critical thinking पटक्कै सिकाउँदैन थियो, आफै सिक्नु परेको थियो यो कुरा हैन. तर if you guys don't push yourselves अहिले to think and grow, पछि गाह्रो हुन्छ कि. Now's the time.
Thank you so much. अब चाहिँ अलिकति floor open गरौँ question answer को लागि. We'll take some few questions from the audience here. हजुरहरुसँग केही questions छ भने चाहिँ you can ask to our panelists. You can raise your hand है. केही questions छ panelistहरुको लागि? हजुर एकदम shy हुनुहुन्छ हो? Are you shy to ask questions? No? Okay. So, lastly, this question to all our panelists, हाम्रो youthहरु हुनुहुन्छ. Also, यो कार्यक्रम हाम्रो YouTube-मा पनि जान्छ, where a lot of youth will be listening your voices. So, lastly, उहाँहरुको लागि हजुरको advice, सबै youthहरुको लागि चाहिँ as a representative केही दिनुस् न सबैजनाले.
मेरो एकदमै straightforward advice, ask questions, you guys. Seriously, really ask questions. म personal example दिन्छु. म चाहिँ इन्डियामा पढेको हैन, अनि त्यहाँ पनि यस्तो quiet environment हुन्थ्यो, questions केही ask गर्दैन थियो हैन. Not challenging the teacher, nothing of sorts. And then I went to the US for my undergraduate हैन. अनि त्यहाँ गएँ, and the environment was completely different के. Before the teacher could even ask us if we had any questions, the hands would be up, people would be sharing their opinions. You know, it was just such a different environment there versus how I'd grown up most of my life. And त्यो environment I grew the most. के त्यति बेला चाहिँ अहिले चाहिँ कस्तो, you know, get shy, public speaking, it's scary. What if people think I'm stupid? I think सबैको माइन्डमा त्यही जान्छ कि if I ask this question, they'll think I'm stupid भनेर सोच्छ हैन. But that's not the way it is. Okay? If you ask questions, then people can hear your opinions, first of all, and you might be saying something that's really brilliant. You might be bringing on some new perspective in a conversation. And this is really important, okay? To stand out as an individual in Azako society with such a huge population. Asking questions and challenging yourself is so key, okay? That's why I'm just going to put it at that. There's so many things you should do, but asking questions is very, very fundamental. Ask questions to yourself, ask questions to your family, ask questions to your teachers, and ask questions to your panelists.
What advice would I give? यो हामी बोल्न नचाहनु अथवा नसक्ने सोच पनि कतैबाट एउटा जराबाट स्टेम हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ भने हाम्रो सोसाइटीमा जनरली हाम्रो फ्यामिलीजमा साइलेन्स इज रिवार्डेड कस्तो ज्ञानी छ भनेर भन्छ नि त हैन हामी अनि कतिचोटी हामीले बोल्नु भनेको चाहिँ डिसोबिडियन्स सँग दाज्न जान्छौं के सो आई अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड यो अचानक आएको होइन पहिल्यैबाट हामीले चाहिँ साइलेन्ट हुनु ज्ञानी हुनु भनेको ज्ञानी भने खासमा व्हाट्स द आइरोनी ज्ञानी भनेको नलेजेबल हो नि त हैन तर ज्ञानी भने चाहिँ हाम्रोमा ओबिडियन्टलाई ज्ञानी भन्छ कि भन्या सबै मान्छ कस्तो ज्ञानी होइन नि त त्यो भने खासमा सो whenever you do feel very often asking questions disagreement is equated with disrespect कतिचोटी त्यही भएर हामीलाई डर लाग्छ अथवा हामीलाई मन लाग्दैन किनभने डिसएग्री गर्नु भनेकै ठुल्ठुलो स्वरले बाँच्ने अब हामीलाई क्वेसन गर्ने जस्तो पढ्न जान्छ नि त हामीलाई धेरैचोटि त्यही भएर नै हाम्रो रुट कजमा चाहिँ रुटतिर चाहिँ त्यो क्वेसन नसोध्ने प्रवृत्ति आएको हुनसक्छ वर्षौँ लागेर बसेको बानी ओभरनाइट हट्दैन तर के आफूले आफूलाई रिपिट गर्नु होला भनेदेखि यहाँ एज अ प्रेजेन्ट लाइभ अडियन्स एन्ड अल्सो द अडियन्स वाचिङ अस अन युट्युब इज डिसएग्रिमेन्ट एन्ड क्वेसनिङ इज नट डिसरेस्पेक्ट यु क्यान स्टिल बी भेरी रेस्पेक्टफुल एन्ड स्टिल स्पिक अप गर्नु भनेको नराम्रो कुरा होइन त्यही भएर साँच्चीकै नै हामीलाई जहिले नै आशीर्वाद दिनुहुने जस्तै ज्ञानी बनौँ पढौँ read a little and read a lot so that you can form opinions and where required in your own way put it up. We don't mean that everybody needs to be an extrovert. Being extrovert has nothing to do with it. You can be an introverted person but still have thoughts and opinions. So read and let's get into the habit of sharing our opinions because sharing our opinion does not make you bad. It does not make you wrong at all.
Great.
Shrestha ma'am said earlier, recycle गर्ने कुरा गर्नु थियो नि. So how are you going to do that? Because the dustbin मा जान्छ. How are you going to collect from the dustbin to recycle later?
Your question is how does the waste from your trash goes to the collection recycling center. So one way is you can segregate your waste at home. So do you do segregation of your waste? No? So first thing you can do is start segregation. So that means especially plastics, you have a separate bin for that where only plastic goes. And if you want to do more, you can also have a separate bin for just PET plastics. For example, all our Coke bottles, we have Kinley, Sprite, Fanta, all of them are PET recyclable. So you can have that, and there are many organizations like Anushka said, Khali CC, Doko Recyclers. You can contact them. They can come for you. I think they do it for free, right?
They do.
They do it for free, and you get some money in return as well. So that's how you can do it.
So for now, if I'm not mistaken, what the waste workers do, and I see a lot of posts with creation actually, if we don't segregate at source, then the waste workers have to go into that pile and then dive it. अहिले चाहिँ त्यही नै भइरहेको छ हैन त? Yeah.
I've seen those kabard centers and it's so bad for them. So yeah, guys, try your best to segregate your waste at home. Everything starts at home with yourself. So segregate. Tell your mom, dad, your brother, sister, family, anyone. Start segregating your waste so that you can go properly to the waste collection centers, and from there they'll start baling, which means compressing the bottles, and we can also get that bottles into chips, so that there'll be microchips, and after we get those microchips, we can upcycle them. For example, the roads that Pokhara has done it, we can also upcycle them to another bottle, we can upcycle them to benches, chairs. That's what we are planning to do. So I hope that answers your question.
Not to a specific person, but to everybody out there. Youths are said to be the one who are responsible for the change, right? And what I want to say is that throughout the year, like many kind of programs, like environmental programs or sustainability programs are conducted throughout the year. But it's, I don't know, I'm the one lagging or it's us who are lagging behind, but we are not really aware about the programs that's conducted throughout the country. So there are many sorts of programs, but we are not really aware about it. So my question is, it's us who are really not aware of what's really happening around us, or it's you guys who are responsible for kind of spreading the awareness that you are not reaching out to like many people as possible. So.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it is true. I mean, I think a lot of you guys must have thought like we only sell as a company, as a Coca-Cola company, we sell beverages and that's it. The fancy ads, I mean, that's the part that gets glamorized the most, and we get that. And that's why we're here. We like to do events like this. We like to partner up with organizations like Glocal who do such engagement events, and that's where we can reach out to you. Yeah, so these are the things that we are doing slowly. Eventually, we would like to publicize more of our initiatives as well. Do follow our pages, like to stay updated. Follow environmental activists as well. Like she mentioned, there's Shilshila Di, who's very active. Follow Doko Recyclers. Follow Creation. They work a lot with youth. You guys can volunteer. They were also part of the mountain cleanup campaign. So next year maybe they'll be again be part of it. So be aware, be on the lookout. There are always these engaging activities, panels, sessions going on. And remember the dates, 5th June is World Environment Day. Actually, people like us who work in the sustainability sector, the whole month of June, we are very busy. So look out on those dates where more of sustainability activities goes on. So just be aware, keep your eyes open. And I mean, I'm from the sustainable sector. I'm always free if you guys want to reach out. So let me know. Thanks. Yeah.
So I'm so glad you asked this question because one of the recent initiatives of the Global Shapers Committee was to start an advocacy paper where it was talking about climate change from the lens of the youth. So the paper is literally about South Asian youths and the perspective of climate change and what we can and should do through the lens of the youth. And for the very first session that we did an open call to as many schools and colleges as we could, and we invited young people with no restrictions whatsoever. If you're interested in this topic, you would come together in this session and you would help contribute to this paper. Okay, so we actually try, like you said, right? We try to reach out to the youth. Right now, social media is so easy. Like you just follow, like Coca-Cola page you can follow Doko. Check out Doko's website. By the way, it's really cool. They have the section on e-waste management. Kosto cool, okay? So you need to be a little proactive when it comes to that. The more you explore, the more access you'll get, and the more then you can contribute to it. Okay, so people are always trying to reach the youth, but you need to also try to put that in your radar a little bit.
Coca-Cola distribution medicine. So what is Coca-Cola doing in such rural areas to uplift those health sectors? Distribution Coca-Cola, what is doing in health sector in this area?
Thank you so much for the question, actually. Yeah, Coca-Cola has a great distribution channel. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, okay, COVID, not so long ago, right? It's not like 30 years ago. So, I mean, COVID, Nepal ma ekdamai hard hit ne bhayo थियो. And then the Coca-Cola Foundation actually funded us. हामीलाई fundsहरु दिएको थियो. More than 10 crores पाएको थियो हामीले, हैन? So what we did with the money? We worked with the Nepal Red Cross Society त्यति बेला. So त्यतिखेर Nepal Red Cross Society, I mean, not just Kathmandu, right? Across Nepal, हाम्रो त्यो borders ma everywhere. So त्यसमा चाहिँ we distributed, especially for the healthcare workers, frontliners, we distributed all sorts of safety gears, PPE, you name it, everything हामीले distribute गर्यो. And not just that, we also installed ventilators, 7 hospitals ma, COVID dedicated hospitals ma, त्यतिखेर for 2 years. अस्ति भर्खर मात्र we ended that project. अनि a vaccination drive, when even after COVID came down, vaccination drive. Kathmandu ma ta sabaijana, they are aware. You're right, remote areas ma people are not aware. We have to push them, So त्यहाँ कसरी awareness campaign गर्नु सक्छ, miking हुन्छ, vans ma ads हरु राखेर, We did it with Nepal Red Cross Society. Why? Like I said, we partner with the experts. So उहाँहरुसँग we partnered them, we supported them with our funds. So त्यसरी नि गर्यो हामीले. And not just healthcare workers, त्यतिखेर even waste workers जो उहाँहरु हाम्रो फोहोर उठाउनुहुन्छ, उहाँहरुलाई पनि we take them as frontliners, किनभने they are the first ones who touch our trash, and it can get contaminated. So उहाँहरुलाई पनि हामीले राहत बार्यो, उहाँहरुलाई awareness campaignsहरु गरायो. So those are the things, like I said, wherever we operate, हाम्रो communities we like to give back, and also for the well-being we try to do as much as possible.
So we are coming at the end of today's panel discussion. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our panelists whose expertise and passion have enriched our conversation today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your amazing presence. Thank you to all our audience who are the part of today's panel discussion. So आज हामीले चाहिँ सस्टेनेबिलिटीको लागि युथको रोल के हुन्छ भनेर सिक्यौँ त्यो सँगसँगै चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ नयाँ नयाँ एभिन्युजहरू चाहिँ हामीले क्रिएट गर्न सक्छौँ आफूलाई इभल्भ गर्न आफूलाई फ्लरिस गर्न सो लेट्स कन्टिन्यू टु बी द क्याटलिस्ट अफ चेन्ज लेट्स बी द च्याम्पियन अफ प्रोग्रेस Thank you once again for being with us and we'll come next time. We'll be back with exciting new episode next time. Till then, stay tuned.